Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Pimp Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, for a Surreal Celeb read. So I call this Surreal Celeb because I chose some celebrities that have personalities or images that are just so big or so fascinating that it is hard for people to wrap their minds around, probably even the people that possess them, child. And it just causes a lot of confusion. So, what I have here are some candle decorations, and the green one is a green feather. We have a yellow maple leaf and a orange, different type of leaf. Okay, so for my fault, y'all. So for this group represents Lizzo. The middle group represents Cardi B. And the orange group represents Summer Walker. Again, green, Lizzo, yellow, Cardi B, and orange, Summer Walker. And without further ado, child, let's get into. Hello. I'm not even gonna edit that out because I am working on perfectionist energy. So it is what it is. I appreciate your patience. Anywho, so this real celeb read for Lizzo, Cardi B, and Summer Walker. So, if you have any inclination or competence on the past happenings of the past couple of weeks, the past month, whatever will have you, on these particular celebs or one, the other, or another, okay? Then a lot of questions come up, a lot of concerns come up about these three artists, Lizzo, Cardi B, and Summer Walker. So I decided to do a little reading lightly on them and also some identifications and synchronations of us, the participants, the engagers, the viewers. Okay? So, in the pick a card, each of you picked pick a pile. Each of you picked a leaf and or feather designated by the color code on there. So there's green, yellow, and orange. The green representing Lizzo. So if you chose Lizzo, you chose this green feather candle decorator. It is a green feathered candle decorator, okay? If y'all will be able to keep your eye on that. That's a good view. Okay. So, first question I'm going to ask is, how does group one, you all, resonate, identify, and synchronize with Lizzo? Four of Swords in reverse. So what I'm picking up for this is y'all have a hard time getting somewhere and sitting down, allowing yourself to rest, allowing yourself to just be with yourself and talk to yourself, look at yourself, whatever it is, love on yourself with yourself, okay? And it backfires in interactions with other people, okay? So what I'm saying here is also true about Lizzo. She gives an energy that doesn't know when to stop, doesn't know when to stop and rest, doesn't know when to take a pause. And so consequently ends up, well, people in general end up getting on her nerves, getting on your nerves. And everything just ends up hitting the fan. So like there's this constant cycle of going, battle, knockdown. It's like something comes up, or people come up, and interactions come up, or I'm picking up on some energies that work themselves to the point of being sick, okay? Work themselves to the point of being burned out, to where all they want to do is sleep and things of that nature. And some of you working yourselves to points of rage where you are constantly on edge, sleep deprived, constantly want to fight, want to defend yourself, want to be or just overly sensitive. I don't mean sensitive as in weak. I mean sensitive as in overreactive. Not saying that your feelings aren't valid. There's just not always a need to respond to things. There's a message about choosing your battles coming up. So that is both true for Lizzo and also true for many of you that chose this pile and that resonate with Lizzo and that resonate with this group. Um, so definitely I need to take a pause and do some evaluations and retrospections, because there's a cycle of you needing to know when to stop without self-destructing and without something having to literally come in and put you on your ass one way or another. Okay? Okay. Oh. That goes into overworking yourself again, taking on too much, overbooking yourself, over scheduling yourself. A lot of you are empaths and don't realize it, or you're in denial about it. And what that means is that you are very vulnerable to other people's energies, and you are able to pick up on other people's energies and feel very strongly what other people feel. It's supposed to be for the purpose of you developing and strengthening your discernment to know what energies to gravitate towards and what energies to not, and when to leave a building. um that just came out how it came out, so take it if it resonates. If it don't, leave it. But it's a need to know when to stop, to know when to let go, to know when to release control, to know when to release your grasp on other people's thoughts and opinions. Um, and it's like it overwhelms you because you don't know what to do with it. So you end up in this like exhausted energy or antisocial energy where you just don't want to be around people at all. But there are ways to be an involved empath and not be swallowed up and consumed by other people's energy. And that does take a morning routine, it takes a daily routine, it takes consistency, it takes, it's a lifestyle. It takes practice. It takes doing the work and seeking the necessary affirmations. One I constantly repeat and that definitely works for me is I am not consumed by other people's toxic energy. I am not consumed by other people's thoughts and opinions. I am not consumed by other people's simplistic perspectives. I am not consumed by works for a lot of things. So whatever you don't want to be consumed by, I am not consumed by dot dot dot. You fill in the blank. I hope that helped. For real. Um and this correlates with what I was about to say, piggybacking off of the Ten of Wands card. Um that goes into Lizzo and people like her needing to be able to recognize their audience more. And what I mean by that is recognize people who are rooting for you and working on giving more attention to that than the negativity, because you honestly hurt the people that are truly rooting for you, and you hurt the people that are truly supporting you and that truly see it for you when you spend so much time responding and engaging and feeding the energy of people who want to hurt you, who don't have your best interests at heart, who are overly criticizing you because they are miserable, or because they just don't understand, because they just don't have anything else to do. So there's a message coming up about some of you having people in your life that feel neglected by you emotionally. They feel as though you don't, it's like you spend so much time complaining about what other people think about you that is negative, or how other people treat you that is negative, and you rarely acknowledge the good things that they do for you, that your actual loved ones do for you. And I'm also picking up on that is blocking your, for some people, that is blocking your soul family from coming in, because a part of your spirit doesn't want it because of that antisocialness. So this card right here, the Three of Wands, is coming up, whereas there's a need to move in silence. So people are talking. The people are talking. The people are saying that you have. The people are talking, okay? And there's good and bad being said about you. But you are being faced with a need to make the choice about who you want to engage with and which one you want to feed off of, okay? And ultimately, if you can grasp the concept of transmuting negative energy, you can learn how to use both without engaging in the negativity of it. Okay? And I'm picking up on the fact that there's a need to, like, that's where this comes in, honestly. And that's where this card comes in also. This Four of Wands in reverse. See, raise that up. It represents a need to take a rest, take a pause. And in this case, it's more of take a rest, take a pause from social things for a sec. Focus on things that are conducive to your happiness and things that are conducive to the career that you want, the career that fulfills you. Schedule time to spend time with your friends, to spend time with your loved ones. But there's a need to be a little bit selfish with your energy right now. And I'm picking up that that is where Lizzo is with it right now. Figuring out how to be more protective of her energy and more selective with her energy, okay? And it basically ends up putting you in position to redirect most of your energy to yourself, which then consequently puts you in a functionality to where you end up giving your energy to those people who resonate with you, to those people that are on your frequency and your wavelength and your divine path, your soul family. So, loving yourself and knowing how to love others. Everything starts with self. Okay? Now, child, with that being said, I want to ask, what does Lizzo present to the world, present about herself, that is not precisely genuine? And I'll be using the Moon Oracle cards for these. Present to the world about herself. That is not precisely genuine. Okay. So in simple terms, what I'm getting from these cards, this is the first one. You can see it as much as you can. It says luck is on your side, and it is the new moon in Sagittarius. It's a lot of purples, reds, hues in this. And it doesn't mean that she is not lucky. It just means that her mindset doesn't match her money yet. Her mindset doesn't match her abundance yet. And even though she may be lucky, she may be on a high frequency of being able to manifest things very easily, but she doesn't effortlessly truly believe that about herself. It's understandable. She's not the only person in the world that feels like that. It's just coming time with everything that's happening in the universe and everything that's happening in an earthly sense and a divine sense, a spiritual sense. It's causing everything that she's tried to avoid happening to overflow, like basically to happen and overflow and drop completely on her head, like rain down on her. That's how it feels like all of her insecurities and all of her worst fears are raining down on her, even though she has everything, almost everything that she's ever wanted surrounding her. She still feels like this dark cloud over her head, just raining down all of her fears and insecurities over her. And a lot of what she puts up and presents to the world, and if you're familiar with her, I don't really have to explain, but a lot of what she kind of does is an effort to build herself up, but it's coming from a place of backwards thinking, in a way, backwards working, because she's working outside in, whereas that's what I mean by moving in silence. There's a need to move in silence because she's been trying to find herself, and she's been like recording her most precious moments of evolution and presenting them to the world, and they haven't been received correctly or embraced thoroughly because too many counteracting energies become involved when you present it to the world. So there's a need to get mindful and more discerning about what we are presenting to the world, because it's not even just about what other people do with it. It's about what it does to you at the end of the day. You may get attention, you may touch people, but what does it do to you at the end of the day? That's a question we can all stand to ask ourselves after every time we post something. Honestly, before we get ready to record and post something, we need to ask ourselves, what is this going to do for me or to me at the end of the day? You're very close to achieving your goal. Again, interception. That's what's coming up. Interception. And that's likely how she perceives certain things. You know how they say, and it's probably how a lot of you may have a habit or may realize that you perceive certain things that happen in life. When you feel like you are super close to achieving something, or you feel like you just got the ambition to dig deep into something that you wanted to apply yourself to, all of a sudden you start feeling all this interception, conflict, delay. And those are moments to build endurance. Because you're gonna need it. Because to whom much is given, much is required. So it's basically building your sense of divine patience. And that goes back into being selective as well. Being selective takes patience. It doesn't mean don't put your art out. It doesn't mean don't be vulnerable. It's a matter of understanding time, place, and also tact. There's got to be a method to the madness. And you want to be sure that what you put out is on an appropriate frequency that will not backfire on you. Because karma doesn't know who did or said what first. All it knows is that an energy was put out into the ether, and that it has to multiply it and then return it to the sender. Emotions are running high. They indeed are, as Uranus has been in retrograde. There's a lot of masculine energy in the air, while feminine energy is heavily at work undoing a lot of toxicity. There is sacred masculine energy trying to arise. However, it is at war right now with wounded masculine energy. So you may feel very up down right now. And you may feel like things, a lot of us, many of us, probably all of us, feel like everything has been very up, down. 1 minute I'm high energy, next minute I'm ready to go to sleep. 1 minute I'm good, next minute I'm irritated. That's a lot of what's been going on right now. So you're not crazy. It's just what's going on right now. And being faced with the task of learning how to self-soothe, taking the power back from external forces, physical things, and the opinions and thoughts of other people, and coming back to ourselves and building trust with ourselves, knowing that we are able to balance, process, and control our own emotions. Because when you do not know how to self-soothe, you go about trying to micromanage other people's emotions and how other people respond to things. That's people in general. When people do not know how to control themselves, how to discipline themselves, how to soothe themselves, how to make themselves happy, and they are afraid of themselves, they try to micromanage other people, and they try to micromanage how other people respond to things. Now, I don't know if you that type of person or somebody in your life that type of person, but it is something to be nipped in the bud, okay? Something to be nipped in the bud. And literally the theme of this portion is time and place, because there's a time and a place to be at peace, and there's a time and a place to go to war for what you believe in. It's all about choosing your battles, and it's all about understanding what times and places are best for you? How is investing your energy in something going to benefit you? And how could it hurt you? Now, what should we be learning from Lizzo? I'm gonna see if I can adjust my light real quick. The sun is shining divinely and doing some things that then I ain't do too much, but it'll be okay. I'll be okay. Okay. What can we learn from Lizzo, child? The cards. Not under my skirt. Okay. What are we supposed to be learning, taking, and embracing from Lizzo? What are some elements of Lizzo's divine purpose that educates and entertains us? It's good. Anka, king of the Red Hawk, my fault. King of the Red Hawk tribe. And once again, what I ask are symbolisms and messages of Lizzo as it concerns our learning and edification experience through observing her. Oh, look at how, oh, goodness. Look at how just the patterns like look similar in different ways. Which this one is expansiveness. Eternity is far more creative than the rigid, constrained, and exhausted ego. Demolishing the ego. The ego exhausts because the ego is obsessed with other people's thoughts and opinions. The ego is obsessed with all the exhausted emotions that it thinks is protecting and serving it, but truly in a expansive sense, it's really harming, because it may only be satisfying and gratifying for the moment, but in the long run, it causes delays and it causes chaos. In this one, we have integration and the number 30. Okay, so evolution upon the divine path, as I've been saying. The frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. So there's a need to understand that multiple things can be true at once. Lizzo in particular seems to struggle a lot with understanding that she can be big, black, beautiful, and a woman, and be loved all at the same time. And the truth of the matter is, she can. Because the truth of the matter is, she is. It's just that another truth of the matter is, everybody is not always going to feel like you are their cup of tea. And absolutely all of us have to work on grasping that understanding that not everybody is going to understand us. Not everybody's going to want to. Everybody's going to like us. Not everybody's going to want to like us. And that's where learning where to give your attention truly comes in, focusing on the good and the best of situations, the best of people, and the best of things. Okay? The Hawk is very protective. That goes back into this club, back into this card. The kin of the Red Hawk tribe. And on this image is, you can see the human form within the realm skeleton head. And then here is also the hawk, of course. So that's another form of integration. See how many different things are amalgamated into this picture to make one whole image that also gives an illusion type of vibe and an illusion type of effect as well. And oftentimes that happens in life. But a lot of the things that we feel like cause a struggle are things that we need to grasp a discipline of, because they're actually things that can be strengths that will advance us on our divine path. So it's like what she thinks holds her back, it's honestly a blessing in disguise. And a lot of you probably feel like your intuition and what's different about you and your perspective on things holds you back. But in actuality, the tides are shifting. And your divine realm is just waiting for you to jump in. And for you to start listening to yourself, listening to your body, and knowing when to hop off for a sec. Okay? So that is all that I have for Lizzo. That is all that I have for y'all. Gonna touch more on her little thing here right before I check out. Her little green feather here. So pretty much just confirming and briefly elaborating on literally everything that I just said and covered about her. But specifically speaking on the green and the feather of it all. Basically gathering the understanding and applying the bulk of what I just said automatically helps cleanse and strengthen your heart chakra, and automatically helps you to gain your power back and free yourself. And that's what feathers represent. And you feel so free to be yourself and to love freely and to love yourself when your heart chakra is in the right place. When you are not hurting, you are able to continuously and effortlessly display love and give love. But hurt people hurt people. Hurt people who lack self-awareness. Hurt people. Okay? And so I hope that helped. I hope it made sense. Whatever resonated, please take it, use it. And what didn't, leave it at the door on the floor, child. Okay? Like, comment, and subscribe. I do thank y'all for coming through. I thank and appreciate every last one of y'all for coming through. Like, comment, and subscribe for me, and share if you care. Okay? Okay, we're going to move on into the next one. Miss Belcliff. Miss Cardi B. All right. Group 2. You all chose the yellow maple leaf. Let me hold it like I got some sense. A little bit. I tried. Okay. Hold on. There we go. The yellow maple leaf. I got a lot of yellow going on, child. So, anyhow, let's see if I can place it where. Yeah, ma'am. So, y'all chose the yellow maple leaf, which is given a need to work on some sweetness, darling. Probably been craving a lot of sweets because your subconscious is trying to counteract the internal bitterness that you feel for some reason. Um, and if you missed the memo, this reading will correlate both with Cardi and with you all that chose her group. So her messages are correlated with yours. So, what resonates, keep it with you. What don't, leave it at the door or on the floor. Okay? Okay. So, and this I'm picking up straight off of her yellow maple leaf here. So, like I said about the sweetness thing, craving sweets, trying to counteract an internal bitterness that you feel, something undealt with, and undealt with trauma that is causing infraction upon your solar plexus, which the yellow represents. Don't be alarmed by this lighting situation. The sun is shining awkwardly through the windows, creating conflict in my light display and distribution. So I appreciate your patience. Anywho, so yes, undealt with traumas causing solar plexus damage, causing both her and those of you who resonate and synchronize with her a need to be very defensive. I need to be very defensive, like violently defensive, even if it's not physical violence, like energetic violence. Wanting to function on the same frequency of people who you feel like hurt you, or people who have hurt you. It's like you want to give them a more worser, shout out to Future, version of what they gave you. Let's pull some cards. Let's see how you identify and synchronize with Miss Cardi B. So we have here the Devil card, and basically just what I'm getting off that is a lot of y'all probably have the same Lilith as her. I'm not sure what her Lilith is, but y'all probably have the same Lilith as her, meaning that y'all shadow self correlates and synchronizes very strongly. And that just goes back and confirms what I said about basically being very volatile and responsive and volatile and or passionate and or rageful manners. Justice. Child, let go and let God. You need to get out of your own way. Just as she needs to get out of her own way a lot of the time. And what I mean by that is people who have wronged you, that energy will be returned to them multiplied over regardless. So you don't have to overexert yourself. You don't have to exalt yourself. You don't have to compromise your own good karma to get back at people. Because, child, I'm getting one, your divine realm don't play about you. Your ancestors ain't play about you. So what God has for you is for you, just as sure as what God has for your enemies is for your enemies. So there's a need to grasp an understanding that justice will be served automatically. You only make things worse for yourself. And like I said, compromise your own good karma by responding on the same frequency of how people possibly came at you and did you. Princess of Cups. So there is high vibrational energy in your emotions. There are ways that you are supposed to fight for what you believe in and what you feel and what you think. But there's a need to redirect some energy. There's a need to reform some methods of your madness. And I'm getting that there are going to be some opportunities that are coming up, or probably that already have come up, that will not only put you in position to realize those strengths, but also strengthen those strengths even more. So what that is Princess of Cups, and it's giving alchemist energy, it's giving spiritual worker energy as well, which I believe Cardi B does engage in Santeria, and so there's a correlation there. Might want to be something that you look into and research and soul search with yourself, or certain spiritualities that are alike it in some way of some sort. You need to realize, and this is coming up for people who either have children or are responsible for children in some type of way. You need to realize that children or your offspring, or people who come after you, the sins of the father, the sins of the mother, the sins of those that came before, impacting and falling on the heads of those who will come after. There's a need to be more aware of that. There's a need to move differently with that in mind, because I think, like Cardi, at certain points, a lot of people in this group may lose sight of what's really important and lose sight of the bigger picture. And in the midst of defending yourself, you don't realize that you're putting other people in danger. And I'm gonna give this example because it's coming to me real strong. I'm gonna go ahead and give it. There's an episode of And Y'all Done Fix My Life where DJ Tracy Steele is on there. If you don't know, Google her. She was on Love and Hip Hop also. But she was on there and she was talking about how she just has this strong sense to defend herself and fight for herself and this, that, and the third. And how it would get her into trouble and fights and crazy situations all the time. And it was something that she wanted to fix. And she told a story about how she was walking with her son and somebody was speeding, almost hit him with the car. And she spazzed out, ran up on the person, ran up on the car, cussing the people out, this and that, and she still has her son. Now, granted, the protective mothering energy definitely comes out. She's scared, she's frantic, she's upset, she's mad that this person wasn't considerate of a child. She's scared because she feels like, oh my gosh, something almost just happened to my kid. All very understandable. But in the midst of her reacting in that way, she doesn't realize that she's putting her child in even more danger than what she thinks she's protecting him from. Because she doesn't know if those people have guns. She don't know if those people will call the cops on her. She ends up going to jail. And then what happens to her son? She doesn't realize the energy transfer of her freaking the entire gout having a direct impact on her son energetically. So she's putting him under more stress as well. Okay? So that's just an example of what I mean by, in the midst of defending yourself, make sure that other people aren't getting stray bullets You see what I'm saying? Okay. So let's see. We use the Moonology cards. What does Cardi B display to us, display to the world? About herself, about her feelings, her past, things of that nature. That are not exactly divinely genuine. And the purpose of me asking this is just to not only get a deeper perspective and form compassion for her, but also to get a deeper perspective of ourselves and get a deeper sense of compassion for ourselves as well. Because when even if people are displaying things that aren't exactly genuine about themselves, there are usually explanations that make total sense. It doesn't mean that you excuse it and just keep letting it happen, but it gives you more insight on how people get in certain positions, how people get into certain mindsets, because you just never know when you may need the grace and mercy that you're trying to withhold from somebody else. And child, that can be correlated to her and y'all as well. Okay. Exactly. Your commitment is being tested. I'm picking up that is concerning not only relationships, but also career path. What does Cardi display to the world that is not exactly divinely genuine? Okay, so I'm going to focus first on this card here, which is your commitment is being tested, first quarter moon. And what I am picking up on this for her is that on the relationship side, she tries to act like her relationships are solid. Like the loyalty is the bee's knees, like it's 100%. And even if the people that she has relationships with, or her husband is faithful to her, internally she has a hard time believing it herself. And so certain things to convince the world that everything is okay and all of her ties are solid is a lot of overcompensation. And it gets in the way of really processing what is going on, what goes on right in front of your face, what is going on in your life, what you're experiencing, your sense of discernment. And it also puts you in position to misplace anger, to misplace energy, to pop off on people who don't deserve it, and to just give your energies things that are not servicing you in whatever way they may be. If it's indulging in things too much, if it's going back and forth with people too much, what have you, just using your energy in all the wrong places. Keep it to the cards. Expect powerful change. So this is new moon eclipse. So Cardi is in a position right now, and I say Cardi, but a lot of you may also feel this as well. Cardi may be in a position right now where she feels like the walls are closing in on her. And she knows that she has to make adjustments in order to, and this is also going into this card. It's correlating with this card as well. And it's about to gel together what I've meant about the commitment thing in a career sense. Whereas being an entertainer automatically puts you in a position to have a following, which automatically puts you in a position to be a role model, which means that there are certain things that you have to change about yourself, that you have to adjust, that you have to adapt and evolve about yourself, because there's just a lot that comes with the territory. So there's a lot that you have to gain discernment about and establish balance about and establish balance with. And so that's becoming harder than she expected it to be. And she really doesn't know if she's going to be able to do it. She really doesn't know if her star power is solidified in the game. That's where that confidence, that fractured solar plexus energy comes in, because this card is nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable moon. So she feels like her scales are off, and she is a Libra, so she feels like her scales are off. She often feels like that. And it gets in the way of her confidence. So when people say certain things like, oh, your 15 minutes almost up, or this song didn't hit like this, or lyrics didn't hit like that, she's very touched by it for that reason. Okay, I had to change my location as people like to invade my space. Anywho, so as I was saying, that's why a lot of things get to her that are said in reference to her career and her abilities and things of that nature, because she often feels very up in the air and like nothing is yet set in stone, child. There's a correlation with some people in this group that I'm picking up on that for, and the message that is coming through is, please listen to and develop your crown chakra. Because there is anger towards the universe, anger towards God, feeling bullied by life. And that is a part of a mindset and a functionality that needs to be deaded, because while your feelings are understandable, it's not servicing you, and it's also attracting more toxic energy that reminds you that you feel unstable. The reason why I said crown chakra for that instead of root chakra, which usually is representative of stability, is because for people who that message was for in particular, it's directly correlated with your crown chakra. In particular, there's a lack of trust, a lack of belief surrounding your crown chakra. You could possibly make great use of the affirmation, I am fearless, limitless, doubtless, and boundless. And that may start to open up some mental, emotional, and spiritual doors for you as it concerns gaining better insight and awareness of yourself. I'm going to pull one more card on that subject. What about Cardi that she presents to the world is not divinely genuine? These are the past life oracle cards, and this is the male female card. As you can see, there's a male and a female, and they have their backs turned to each other. So this is like a battle of the sexes type energy. I'm picking up on energy of romantic relationships having an overt competitive dynamic in nature. So, like, I don't want to speak like I just know everything about her business, but this is what's coming to me intuitively. So, like I said, with some of those other cards that came out about kind of this front or this overcompensation of looking like such a team, and like ties are solidified and loyalty is solidified, but she feels often at competition with Offset, and there is often this ego battle between like who is the biggest star and whose star is going to shine the brightest and the longest. And there are also some elements of insecurity and feeling like she's on his coattails in a way. Just that stereotypical thing that's put on women when they are in relationships with men who are also successful. Often, no matter how successful the woman is within her own right, she's attached to a successful man. A lot of people equate her success to being because of his success. And that's something that comes up for her a lot. A message that's coming through for the collective is this parental, bad parental, not a bad, kind of a bad parental dynamic, but what it is the perspective surrounding the dynamic. People have probably made you feel like you haven't worked for the success that you have, that you've gotten your success based off being pretty, based off who you are attached to, based off superficial things, not based off the work that you put in, not based off your talent, not based off you just being destined for success. And that often comes up for Cardi as well. And you don't need to feel bad for being born into a good amount of stability. So for instance, if there's some of you who come from two parent households and you've been surrounded by people who make you feel bad or make you feel guilty because you don't come from a single parent household, basically because they want you to have had the same struggles that they had or that other people have, you don't have to subscribe to that type of functionality, and you need to release the guilt around being successful. You need to release the guilt around being privileged. You need to release the guilt around being great, because there's nothing wrong with being great. Just make sure you are helping people help themselves so that everybody can have a place at the table. And that doesn't mean that everybody can go with you, that you think can go with you. It just means doing what you need to do for yourself, and then watching how helping yourself helps other people help themselves. Stick to your purpose and fuck them folks. course, there's an imbalance of masculine and feminine energy. Okay? So, definitely a need to research some methods, pick up some methods. I also often post about balancing male and female energy and the signs of it being imbalanced and different methods and things of that nature. I often post things like that on my Instagram as well as my Facebook. So feel free to follow me if you want, you know, some tips and things of that nature on how you can get your masculine and feminine energy balanced. First of all, what I will say is to work on not judging your feminine energy and learn how to better use your masculine energy. The reason why I'm being so brief with that message in particular is because my intuition and my spirit guides are telling me that a lot of people in this group kind of already know what they need to do. They've just been refusing to do it out of fear of making people think that it's okay to run over you. And that's not what it is. That's not the purpose of any of the message at all. The purpose is for you to reclaim, protect your energy, and better distribute it to people who truly deserve it. So now I will ask, what lessons and messages does the divine realm mean for us to take from our observance of Cardi B? And I show you detachment, learning when to detach, learning when to let go, learning when to say no, learning when to say enough is enough and being done with it, learning when to not beat a dead horse, going back and forth with somebody about the same subject, saying the same things over and over again, constantly gaslighting you, constantly deflecting, derailing the conversation. Why you keep going through that for? Why you keep putting yourself in position to get upset? A conversation, an interaction that is going nowhere. So that is a time and a place to detach, to disengage, to reclaim your energy so that you can go distribute it in a better place, somewhere it is needed, somewhere that it should be. With the detachment, you finally feel whole inside, with or without the fulfillment of a particular desire. Ironically, that's often when it's fulfilled. That's called divine intervention. When you take your hands off of something and stop trying to micromanage it and stop trying to deal with everything yourself, divine intervention is able to happen. And your divine realm is able to do what it's supposed to do. Uplift you. That there. Energetic clearing. High, strong empath energy. Real strong empath energy here. Energetic clearing. Y'all are some people that more than likely have to sage on a daily basis, cinnamon burn, incense burn, all of that on a daily basis. There needs to be a lifestyle routine that involves energy clearing, cleansing, and recentering between every event, between every project that you do. Wake up in the morning, do you some energy cleansing and some energy building. Go to work stable, get off work, do you some energy cleansing, do you some energy building, do you some yoga. You finna go hang out with friends, do you some before, and then do some after to cleanse your energy and recenter and ground yourself. Like in between every event, in between your social interactions, in between, you know, before you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning, doing things that rejuvenate and also cleanse your energy, because y'all are very vulnerable to other people's energies, very strong intuition and being able to read the auras of other people and consequently feel how they feel. So you end up being engulfed and influenced by other people's energy. Like you could be feeling good and then somebody could just walk in that's internally mad about something, whether they say something or not, whether they show it or not, and you just feel it. And all of a sudden, you mad. You feel what they feel, but they not showing it. You don't know why you feel it. You feel crazy. That's why strong as empath. And that's for you to be able to have compassion for people, have compassion for yourself, and also to be able to help people. But that's also for you to learn who you cannot help and who you should not help, and energy that you don't want around you. And also gives you insight on what you would be cleansing out of your energy. So, energetic clearing during crisis, the Holy One herself may be emptying you of fear and detachment. And attachments. May be emptying you of fear and attachments, preparing you to receive her luminous plan. So what that means is, one, getting out of your own way and freeing yourself up of other people's energy, thoughts, opinions, noise, all of that, other people's beliefs, all of that, even like stuff that probably your parents put into your head that's just not for your divine path. Getting a better sense of yourself so you can clear all that out and be able to hear what is for you, and be able to be who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be it. Divine messages and symbolism from observational Cardi B. So, what we have here is guidance and receiving. So, more than likely, Cardi B, and more than likely, y'all are often surrounded by very opinionated people. People that have a lot to say, people that are not afraid to say it. And that has clouded your judgment and being able to discern who and what you should listen to, what criticism you should take, and what criticism you should leave at the door, as well as her. And so once you implicate these parts, learning when and how to detach, and the energetic clearing part of it, it'll put you in a better frequency to receive the guidance from your divine realm, and also from the people who are in your soul family, the people that you should listen to, the people that are basically earth angels that surround you and are meant to help you on your path. Once you are able to center yourself and silence out all that noise, get your ego out of the way, detach yourself from being consumed by other people's energy and other people's thoughts and opinions, you will be able to hear your own divine realm more. You'll be able to see yourself in a more whole light, in a greater light, and be able to show up more for yourself and more for people who deserve you and that you deserve. Every day it becomes easier to receive the highest divine plan and to trust my inner guidance. When you make divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. And that's all I have to say about land. I hope it helped. I hope it resonated. I hope it was as entertaining as much as it was educational, if you will. And I hope everything resonated. And I hope you have the discernment to be able to take what resonates and leave the rest at the door and or on the floor, okay? Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and share for me, darling. And I shall see y'all in the next one. Now we'll move on to group 3, Miss Summer. Okay. Alright, last but not least, it is group 3 for Summer Walker. So, if you chose this orange feather type leaf, you chose Summer Walker. And a little bit of a channel message that I'm picking up on that particular symbol there for Miss Summer Walker, and let me also reiterate that the messages that come up for her will definitely correlate for a lot of you who view this video and who chose this group. So it just gives you different insight and possibly a different sense of compassion for the artist in name, for the artist that we're speaking of, and diving into, as well as giving you more insight into yourself and understanding why this person stands out to you so much, and understanding how you synchronize with them and what lessons you can take from them, their experience as well. Seeing yourself in others. Okay, so about this here orange feather leaf, okay, it is orange and it's definitely giving some overindulgence, picking up overindulgence on substances, overindulgence on things that are not conducive to progressing on your path, progressing in creativity, okay? Also a need to reestablish a sense of fun in your creativity and in your everyday life. I'm picking up on as well, and interactions with people. That's what I'm picking up on. Reestablishing a sense of joy in interacting with people, which essentially will make you feel more free in yourself and more free when interacting with the people that you interact with. So let's get into these cards. First question I'm going to ask is for identifications and synchronizations for the viewers. You all who chose her, how do y'all identify and synchronize with Miss Summer Walker? As in, what do y'all paths and y'all's auras and y'all's spirits have in common? What do y'all's experiences and how y'all react to them and function in them correlate with each other? Wheel of Fortune. So the first card y'all have here is the Wheel of Fortune. So it's a lot of up down feelings, but it's because you are destined for greatness. So what it is learning how to be humble so that you understand how to make the best of your blessings. That's what the downs are for, so that you can appreciate the ups even more. So this is about the good and the bad thing, okay? So, and also, there's a theme of duality coming up instantly in her reading right now. So, and look at that, the correlation of the colors, also the consistency of the colors with those cards. So, with the Wheel of Fortune, you got up, down. There's a need to understand the duality of that, the purpose and the strengths of both ups and downs. And then the Fool here, there's a need to understand the duality of having fool like free, enjoying, fun, energy versus being foolish. Okay? It's okay to have fun. It's okay to be young, wild, and free. But don't be no fool. Okay? Don't be no fool. And what I'm picking up on is that is an understanding that summer tends to struggle to grasp, and that many of you may struggle to grasp as well. That thin line between just having a good time and enjoying life and then embarking upon foolish territory. And what I'm picking up on is allowing the wrong people in your circles. Because I'm picking up on too that Summer allows the wrong people in her circles. Okay. So, and then there's that consistency of color again. And so what this is giving is it's kind of summing up this portion of the read, whereas the identifications and synchronizations and this theme that we having going here, in developing the duality of everything that be going on. So what it's given is that Summer Walker, as well as you all, likely have, look at those cycles, likely have a cycle, okay? Likely have a cycle of constantly being on the go, constantly being on the go, constantly being on the go. Everything is like this, just constantly on the move. And it is warping your sense of discernment to where your brain is not having time to discern and process who is truly having your best interest at heart and who is just trying to leech off of you for the moment. So I'm getting that Summer in particular, and this is probably more than likely correlating with a lot of you as well, gravitates a lot towards what she knows. But what she knows is not necessarily what is good for her. It's a cognitive dissonance that I'm picking up on is happening for her right now, and probably is happening for a lot of you as well. Whereas you are finding that a lot of what you thought was right is not working. It's not working anymore. And it hasn't worked as well as you once thought it did. There are things, it's like your value is shifting. Your value of things is shifting. And honestly, it's a good thing because a lot of you are now coming into a place of wanting more for yourself. And that is so great because I'm picking up on that she's also coming into the energy of wanting more for herself, where she's realizing like she felt like she demanded things, from her relationships, in the past, like, you know, like that she was making sure that she was being provided for in relationships and interactions. But she's realizing that because she was placing value in the wrong things, she still wasn't getting exactly what she felt like what she deserved and what exactly would fulfill her. So now there's a need to get back to self and start talking to self more about what makes you happy, what makes you feel whole, and what makes you feel joy, and what makes you feel fulfilled, so that you can start pouring those things into yourself and pouring your energy into those things, so that you can then start to attract people who pour into you. And I'm getting that that's where she is now. So it's just basically slowing down so that you can get a better view and sense of yourself, so that you can start realizing what exactly are you prioritizing, and what do you need to redirect and rearrange your priorities on, and your values, That's a heavy thing in her read right now. Values. Meaning, what do you value out of people? What do you value out of life? Have you been trying to validate yourself with physical things as opposed to building your own confidence up internally, as opposed to, and this just came fluently, have you been, and this is just an example and also a question for a lot of people in this group, for real, because it's a question that I feel like Summer is having to ask herself now. Have you been valuing the instant gratification of sex over the actual longevity and wholeness of actual love and intimacy? Have you been placing the instant gratification of sex over the longevity, wholeness of true intimacy and love? Because if so, then you may now be seeing clearly the consequences of functioning in that type of misplacing of values. Now, if that type of functionality works for you, and you have no problem sleeping at night, it's not manifesting poorly in your body with aches and pains and illnesses and things of that nature, do your thing. And you know where your values are. But if not, and it's bringing hell into your life, and you're not satisfied still, you may need to do some reevaluation and some redirecting, reformation of your values. What is important to you? What is important to you in interaction? What is important to you when you create? What is important to you when you are having fun? Okay. Now I will touch on, and this will be more focused on Summer in particular, and then I will also deliver messages that you all can use, we all can use as well. I'm gonna use moon cards, okay? So, what about Summer, herself, her life, her purpose, her creativity? What about her that she presents to the world is not divinely genuine? What about her that she presents to the world is not divinely genuine? First card it fell out is take time to breathe out. So that correlates and confirms something I just said. take time to breathe out. A lot of people probably feel like she be on her ass a lot, but she really don't. She's like always doing something, and she's not as chill and mature and as calm as she would like a lot of people to believe. She's not as versed in certain things as far as knowledge that she would like a lot of people to believe, because she doesn't have time to sit down and research, or she hasn't given herself time to sit down and do more research and do more educating of herself, do more soul work, do more emotional processing and things of that nature. So kind of like, it's kind of like that bohemian thing is kind of a bit of a compensation. Her feminine energy is off, and that's also a part of the disingenuity. That's also a part of the facade that comes along with the bohemian image, because spirituality is very feminine, and her feminine energy is off. It's off balance. Because she's very male identified. She has been very male identified. And I'm also picking up on the fact that she's realizing that and trying to figure out how to rectify that. Allow me to adjust myself if you don't mind. No, my skirt here is also acting as I want to say plate, but that's not what it is. It's acting as a blanket, a cover, a shawl. Okay. Just to take time to breathe out. To place this back right here. And put another card. Okay. About somebody she presents is not divine machine. The energy is gaining momentum. Now, recently she did a video going off and, you know, like wanting people to leave, wanting the baby mamas of her baby daddy and all of that to leave her alone, and, you know, talking about different things that she's going to be doing and how she's going to be moving differently. But which her intentions are solid, her intentions are genuine. She does intend on making a lot of changes, and more than likely she will end up making those changes. However, she more than likely will have to be forced in that position, because she just is the type of person that has to be shown. She has to experience things before she gets the point. But this time she will learn the lesson of not pushing herself to the point of burnout before she does the work that she knows she needs to do. So that's what I'm getting with this. The energy is gaining momentum, whereas she's coming off like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I got it, but she's still not taking the time to sit and center and be. She's still like that. So she feels like the energy is gaining momentum, but she's really rolling off fumes right before the burnout. And that's basically will be the divine realm putting her on her ass. So that it's kind of similar. It's kind of similar to Lizzo's reading in a way. So if you feel pulled to also watch Lizzo's Pow, you should do that. But this particular part is very similar to Lizzo's reading along the lines of having to be put like being forced to take a rest, like being the type of person where like you don't take a rest until you get sick, or you don't take a rest until you break a bone, or you don't take a rest until you are literally exhausted. And that's a part of a cycle that the divine realm is putting them in a place of breaking, to stop overworking yourself and stop glamorizing overworking yourself to a point where you have to self-destruct in order to know when to rest. There are signs and messages that come through even by just listening to your body that will let you know when it is time to rest. And a part of trusting in the divine realm is trusting that when you rest, you will be rejuvenated to be even better than you were before, but also that everything you left on the table will be back when you come back and when you are rested. Rest. So that's also a message for y'all. Rest. Rest. The last card for this particular part. She presents is not defined gender. A new romantic cycle begins. So this is, look at that correlation of color. I hate to say it, but this is touching on, excuse that background noise, child, but this is touching on a new relationship that she will likely be presenting to the world, or already has presented, because that's kind of what that debacle was about, was it not? But yeah, so this is touching on a new relationship, which is practically a rebound, which is just something to do. I'm getting that it also has some karmic ties. Whatever relationship this is has some karmic ties. This person is in her life to mirror something to her that she needs to fix, that she needs to unlearn, and that she needs to evolve upon, that she needs to evolve from. This person is not meant to stay in her life, though she feels a very strong connection to them. It's infatuation. She feels like he's a soulmate, but really he's a karmic mate. And it doesn't mean that she did something bad to deserve poor treatment or anything. It just means that it's a lesson that she needs to learn, that she keeps refusing to learn, or it just keeps going over her head, because like I said, the constant moving, she doesn't have time to really process things. Just very fly by night. And this person is just going to come in and mirror that to her, and come in and show her where she's going wrong, and she's going to be able to fix it. So her soulmate, she will likely find, but this current person is not it. It's going to take a while for her to build herself up onto a frequency that attracts her twin flame in, her divine mate. Because like I said, she also has to get her feminine energy together. And so the message that's coming through for y'all as it concerns what came out for her here is to be patient. Be patient. Give yourself time. Give yourself compassion. and give yourself the love that you crave so badly from other people and that you feel so deprived of. The love that you feel so deprived of, figure out how you can give it to yourself. For real. You're gonna definitely love and appreciate yourself more for it. You're gonna enjoy life more for it also. So that's the message that's coming through as it concerns her disingenuous displays. There's nothing to judge her about. It's perfectly understandable as to, you know, how somebody gets into that mindset or gets into that functionality. You know, it's not an excuse, but an explanation that helps us understand and helps us have compassion. Now, becoming aware of it is when we have to start working on it to undo it and or to transmute it into something that is constructive. The end of a tough cycle approaches. I just felt compelled to read this off because I kept popping up and I kept flashing it up. The end of a tough cycle approaches. So I'm picking up that this is both true for her and both true for y'all. The end of a tough cycle approaches as you all, including Summer Walker, is embarking on a sense and a path of surrendering to the divine realm and surrendering to the lessons that are right in front of you, that are right in front of her, so that you can receive your blessings, child. So let's get into the last portion of the read. What lessons are y'all to learn from Summer Walker? What lessons, what messages are meant for y'all to learn from observing her, viewing her, and consuming her works? What lessons are to be gained? What observations are to be gained? Extraordinary. Embracing your weirdness. Embracing your weirdness. Do not dumb yourself down for people. Don't dumb yourself down or shrink yourself for other people. If people are making you feel like you need to shrink yourself, act like you're not as smart as you are. If people are making you feel wrong for setting boundaries and protecting yourself, that is not your soul family. And they are simply trying to stomp out your extraordinary qualities, your unique qualities that you need to be who you are, that you need in order to get your success that is for you, okay? There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. And you have to start honoring it yourself in order to attract those that were divinely designed to come in and honor you. This is gratitude in reverse. Fill me with gratitude for all you give. May I be a vehicle for wherever you go. So this is about being more grateful. This is about being, grateful for things as simple as the mobility, the ability of your limbs, the being able to walk, being able to talk. In an artistic case, being able to sing, being able to draw, being able to act, being able to dance. Start showing gratitude for the simplest of things, and that will help you gain a better sense of your values as well. That'll help you gain better value, which will consequently create more joy in yourself. Because not only will you have a greater sense of values, but your values will be in the right place as it concerns your spiritual makeup. Inner child. There's a lot of inner child healing here. So I did mention about Summer not being as versed or as competent in certain things as she makes herself out to be. Now, I do not mean that she is stupid by a long shot. She is not stupid at all. She's very naturally wise. She's very naturally knowing. She is more than likely clairvoyant. She's just unevolved right now in a lot of those areas that would strengthen that particular trait. And so the reason for that is because her inner child is wounded and she keeps herself busy in order to avoid memories of trauma. And so that may also be reigning true for you all. And there's a need to get in touch with your inner child and heal some of those inner child wounds, heal some of those childhood wounds. Likely seek therapy. There's nothing wrong with seeking therapy. It doesn't mean that you're crazy. It means that you're willing to do better. So, a need to get a hold on your inner child, because that will also strengthen your creativity. That will also strengthen your sacral chakra and help you better process your emotions, have better control over your emotions, so that people are not able to pull the wool over your eyes, play you, things of that nature, and manipulate your energy. Because that's what I was saying too about Summer. She ends up letting the wrong people into her space that end up just wanting to parasite off of her and then stomp her light out. And that has also more than likely been true for y'all, whereas you possibly end up presenting yourself in ways that it's like subconsciously kind of not wanting people to like you because you don't feel like you deserve to be liked, because people that have surrounded you have made you feel that way, like you don't deserve being liked, like you're not a person that should be liked, like you're not a person that should be loved or that is of value. So definitely some things to unpack there. Allow me to give compassion and love to that little one. Let me attend to its deepest needs and feelings. Attend to your deepest needs and feelings, because they are heavily correlated with your childhood experiences and your childhood wounds. And that is heavily correlated to your divine path as well. So anything that is hindering your inner child comes out at the worst times when you do not take the time out to work on it. And you end up embarrassing yourself and getting embarrassed a lot. So y'all, I hope this helped, and I hope that y'all are able to take what resonates and leave the rest of the door on the floor. I'm so appreciative of y'all's energy. I'm so appreciative of y'all being here, and I will be ever more appreciative if you like, comment, and subscribe, and share if you care. Follow me on my social medias, which will be tagged, okay? And